talk to an Olympic athlete. They didn't just show up and, start swimming. It's years of practice and building that muscle that will get them to that point. I ended up buying a very overpriced course. And that course, unfortunately, led me to 2 failed products and say, I'm 44 now, life is harder, blah, blah, blah. Or am I better saying, okay, these are the things I'm going to do that have been proven successful for me, and these are the things I'm going to have to commit to if I want this change to happen. I think what makes a really good entrepreneur is taking the emotions out of the business and running the numbers. And that's another part of my business, and the integral part is I look at it's all data.
Everyone wants to succeed in their life, but there are some situations or limitations that hold us back. So if you're the one who is having those difficulties, this podcast is especially for you, where we invite 6 to 7 figures making entrepreneurs and they share their personal experience with us. So they inspire us. They want us to succeed as well. So if you want to learn from them and you don't make mistakes that they already did, and this is gonna make your journey a lot more easier. So that's why we have Mandeep Kaur. She's an entrepreneur and she's running Amazon business successfully full time. But the second most important thing is that she's a mother of 3 children. How she's able to manage her professional life as well as personal life, because she has a lot of stuff to take care of, we're gonna know in this episode. So if you want to do something big in your life, then she can inspire you and she can share her stories so you can relate with you. So buckle up and let's dive into this podcast with Mandeep Kaur and me, Harpreet Singh, on Wealth Cardio. Thank you.
Hello Mandeep, welcome to Wealth Cardio. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. And please introduce yourself to our audience and what do you do? What is your background?
Sounds good. First of all, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. Well, my name is Mandeep Kaur. I'm a 44-year-old e-commerce seller, just based outside of Vancouver, British Columbia. I was originally born in Toronto, moved here almost 20 years ago. And 5 years ago, I started an e-commerce business. I was able to scale that business to where I was able to quit my full-time job 2 years later. And I've been doing e-commerce full-time for the last 3 years or so.
Okay. So you're doing full-time now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you live in Vancouver. That's totally 2 different things. Vancouver is a beautiful place. I have some friends over there and they always keep saying me, you should visit it. And,
it rains a lot though. It does rain a lot.
We have cold a lot here in this side, by the way, the east side. So, okay. So why FBA? Like what made you start this business?
You know what? So when I was working full time, I actually listened to a podcast, and in that podcast, they're talking about side hustles. I think I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. Yeah. My dad always had like a 9 to 5, and he would tell us, you can have a 9 to 5. That's the basics. But you have to have something on the side if you ever want to make it in this world. And so all throughout childhood, he would do different things, different businesses. And I kind of just learned from that. And so one day I was listening to a podcast about a guy who was selling books on Amazon. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't want to sell books. But a couple of months later, I actually was overlooked for a promotion at the company I worked for, even though I was a top performer. And I was a little frustrated. And so, remembering what I had learned about Amazon, I was like, okay, let me go on YouTube and what is Amazon? So that's how essentially I started, from one podcast, and a couple of months later searching about it.
Okay. So you started was there any friend or somebody who suggested you to do something?
I personally, now that I'm in e-commerce, I've made connections. Yeah. But prior to me selling on Amazon, I have no family or friends in the e-commerce space. Absolutely none.
And did you have a study or something? Like there must be some study or not?
So I did purchase, I went through YouTube, and obviously on YouTube, sometimes they make it look really easy. And I was very confident because I've done other things before. I'm like, oh, I could probably do this. I ended up buying a very overpriced course. And that course, unfortunately, led me to 2 failed products. And so I think every entrepreneur does have a moment where they kind of fail, but you got to keep going. And so when I changed the way I did product research and honed in on how to do ads on Amazon. And that's pretty much self-taught. That's when I saw success. My third product took off in about February 2020.
Okay.
And then 2020, as everybody was home baking bread, I was scaling my FBA business.
It was the COVID time, by the way. Everybody was thinking like, okay, just chill because everybody was getting money from government and they were enjoying basically in the home. Somebody was playing games and someone like just chatting, nothing much. Right.
I remember even Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a Sunday, and so Mother's Day 2020, I'm having Mother's Day dinner and I'm messaging suppliers because it's Monday in China.
Okay.
So that's the level of sacrifice,
dedication,
and dedication you have to put in. So.
Okay. Even I saw some of your stories where like not stories, it was videos. Like I follow you on TikTok for like more than a year now, inconsistently. Oh, wow. And I'm your fan too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Then I started following you on Instagram, and you put a video one day I was listening to, and you were saying like mothers start messaging you, okay, I don't feel confident. I don't know if I can do it. And I saw the video. You're a good motivator too, by the way.
Oh, and thank you.
You're telling, just do it. Like there were a lot of videos that I saw where in one video that you were saying, like we do have a bunch of options like in our life. Everybody has it, but we have to choose first of all one. Then we have to proceed towards it because we have to make a decision. If we are not good in making decision, then there is nothing that we can achieve. Although we have like a bunch of options, everybody has it, right? Yeah. So yeah, that was true too. And by the way, as you were saying, like you started 3 years ago. What was the first product that came into your mind? Like consistently. Sorry.
Yeah, so I started actually 5 years ago, and the first product I launched was like a party supply that was just an oversaturated. Like it fit all the criteria. It was like small, lightweight, but there were just too many sellers selling the same product. Yeah. And so that's why you have to differentiate your product. You have to be different if you want to win on Amazon. So I think a lot of people go into selling Amazon and think they could just pick up a random product and just sell it and make millions. That's just not the way it is now. The landscape is too competitive. You really have to hone in on a specific niche and come to market with a unique product and a unique selling point. So that is to me kind of the sauce for success. And going back to, figuring things out, a lot of people just want get rich quick, right? Yeah. Talk to anybody who's ever made money in their life. Everybody sees the end. Everybody says, oh, I want to be where Mandeep is, where she's doing this full time. Well, you have to be working on Mother's Day too. To
exactly.
Get there. So that there's a level of sacrifice that you have to put in. And I think a lot of people shy away from that. Everybody wants things quick. We all want to lose weight quick. We want to make money quick. But the real people who commit to the goals, break it down into small steps, and take action every day are the ones who then see long-term growth in whatever goal they have.
Right. Even I was talking to my mentor, and he was telling me like, in the society, we have to find the pain first of all, right? So once you have found the pain, then there is the second option. That is the perceived value that they're going to receive after the limit, after the time. Okay. But there are two options. If you want to, if you know the pain, if you know how much time it's going to take, then you have to provide them the, the structure, proper structure. Okay, this is how it's going to happen. And you're going to achieve in this much time. But there is another thing that people going to have hard time in putting too much time. So let's say if somebody wants to go to gym, right? So they will say, okay, I want to lose my weight like 20 kgs, let's say. And I don't want it to be like too far. Like I have marriage after 1 month. I want to do it in 1 month, which is not possible. So then they go for the medicines, then they go for the doctors, although it's expensive, but they will choose that because they don't want to spend too much time wasting. They they have pain. They have a similar pain, but the outcome is the same. But the process is different what we do. So likewise, if we were telling, so if we find the pain, then we have to consider all those other factors too. So there is another question that how do you find a pain? Then how do you solve it? because everything has two ways to solve it.
So pain, are you talking about like pain of like my own personal journey, or are you talking about
professional?
Professional.
So let's say you're launching a product, like every product is a solution to something.
Well, so selling on Amazon is a little different because I think the difference is when you have like a Shopify store, you can sell kind of a generic product and run ads. The beauty of selling on Amazon is you have people who are coming to Amazon with high buyer intent, meaning they want to come and find products. So your job as the e-commerce entrepreneur is figure out what people are typing on Amazon. And we use a tool within Amazon called Helium 10. And we figure out, okay, how many people, so I have this red cup, how many people are searching for this red cup in the last 30 days? Okay. Then you as the entrepreneur have to bring something to market to fill that void. So you're going to investigate all the other red cups, see what's wrong with the other red cups and how you can improve that product. And that's really the simple part of it. Because with Amazon, you get a lot of data. And I think what makes a really good entrepreneur is taking the emotions out of the business and running the numbers. And that's another part of my business, and the integral part is I look at, it's all data, right? Okay, 50,000 people are searching red cups. Nobody is selling a red cup. Well, guess what? I'm going to bring a red cup to market. So that's the beauty. Whereas if you've got a brand, and you're on Instagram or TikTok and you're doing Shopify, you don't have that market data. So that's what I mean about, solving that problem. You can figure out the data on Amazon and then solve the problem with different products. The key also is, having a unique selling point, having a differentiation, and identifying, and this is what I teach in my course, is there's a module where we understand who the customer avatar is. And so when we look at a customer, okay, so we're not just selling this red cup. Who are we selling this red cup to? Why are they buying this red cup? How can we make sure that we convert on the sale by creating some sort of emotional connection and solving that problem? If you're noticing in reviews of this red cup, everybody's like, oh, I had to buy 2 because I need it for XYZ. Well, that gives you a lot of clues that, okay, your customer avatar wants multiples of this product. So building that base and understanding who that customer is how you really win on Amazon, or even selling anything online.
So here I got so many things basically. And so it's not just the gut feeling, okay, you feel like, okay, this is going to work, and you just buy it and you just put it on it.
I do not go and that's the thing I think, and through my group, I always tell, we do weekly calls. You got to take the emotions out of the business. Yeah. Too many people get married with, I really want to sell a pet product because I have a pet. Okay, well, if you're struggling finding a pet product, maybe that's just not it for you. Or maybe the margins aren't there. Or maybe you can't think of a unique selling point at that time. That's when you put that product on the back burner, right? You have to it's not just about sales, it's about profitability, because at the end of the day, you need a business that's profitable. And because you need that money to live, right? There's no point in making $1 million and your margin's only 5%. So the key is really that profitability. So I never marry myself to a product. If I have to drop a product because the numbers just are not there, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Let me tell you one experience related to it, okay?
Yeah.
So as you know, like everybody who is hustling, they try to do as many things as they can, right? So either it could be a business, either it could be a content creation, either it could be anything they think they can do it, right? So I started FBA about 2 years ago. I started it. I'm not doing it, but I started it. So I want to tell you a story. What happened? Like I purchased the course from a person who is well known. He's a millionaire. It was good money. Okay, so I'm not going to name the name of the person, and he was from US. Okay. And I said, okay, he sounds legit. And I purchased it. I found out it's not much that he was providing. It was just the videos. He was telling, okay, you have to make account like this, which I can find it on YouTube. It's so crazy. Then he said like, okay, you're going to go to Jingle Scout.
Yeah.
How you can see the products. How can you put like key trackers, like keyword tracking, something like that, right? So you have to track the products. Then after that, same thing, same thing. So it was same thing over and over. And I said, I don't know what to say. Although I was about to call him mentor because I was watching his videos, but after purchasing that course, no, I didn't feel even a single bit out of value. Like it was just the simple things that he was already telling on the YouTube, but he was not going into depth about. But he didn't show the tactics that I should follow to find the product actually, right? He just said the example, like not the, he took the simple, like I say, I'm a mentor, let's say, right? I pick a product, then I do the whole series on it. I will say like, okay, this is how we're going to perform. This is how we're going to target the market. This is how we're going to define, this is the pain, then the solution. Then we're going to show how to sell it, how to start PPC campaign, every single thing, right? But I don't know. I didn't get it. And the second part, there are two parts. Sorry. So second part, I said, okay, I'll dash it. And I'm going to buy something from Alibaba. I bought some phone cases from Alibaba.
Oh.
Okay. Which was more than a common product. And I put it on Amazon, not here in Canada, but in the US. So I said, it's not selling. I said, because we need to work on the PPC campaign and we have to be unique, right? First of all, the product wasn't unique and I didn't know anything about PPC campaign. Then I said, okay, I'm going to watch some video. I don't know if it was your video, it was somebody else, but I saw it on TikTok. Okay. Then I followed their video. Then I started the PPC campaign. I did it for 3 days and I sold one phone cover, only one. So I spent $25 on PPC campaign in 5 days and I sold one cover and I was more than happy. But at the same time, I didn't gain anything. I lost $25 plus $7 of the product fees, right? That I had. And I said, oh my God, like it's not going to work. Then I left it. I just left the account. I wasn't using it. And suddenly after 6 months, the product started selling. I don't know why. So recently in last 2 months, I sold 9 covers out of nowhere. I just received an email. Okay, your product is on the way. I said, what product? I don't even put it I don't put anything like for last a year almost. Then I saw it, those products start selling. So Mandeep, is it we can say like, okay, if you put the product on Amazon, sometimes you can hit it with the luck too, like your luck started shining, something like that. So why? Can you please explain it?
There's no luck with business, especially selling on Amazon. You have to run the numbers. And I could tell you a phone case. A lot of people say, well, I tried Amazon, it didn't work. It's because the formula everybody is teaching is all the same. And I started, so I was over on Instagram first, and I started documenting my success. And people would reach out to me and saying, hey, I bought this course. I don't know how to run ads. Can you help me? And so I started doing one-to-one consulting. I did consulting one-to-one for over a year. And I was so frustrated because so many people bought courses and then they're left hanging to dry. Like there's no, there's no help. There's no additional feedback. There's none of that. And so that's why I was so reluctant to also create my own course. But my students, my one-to-one clients were like, okay, one-to-one's getting expensive, booking you all the time. We would totally buy your course if you could help us with everything you know, because it's hard to, like, I'm 44. I'm not just an Amazon seller. I have years of brand marketing, training and development experience. So putting all of that and teaching people one-to-one in an hour, it's exhausting. And they weren't getting, everything I was teaching. So I was just so reluctant to sell a course because I had bought a course and I did not want anybody to feel ripped off because I know what that felt like. I felt very like, you're taken advantage of, I think is the proper word. And so that's why the content, first of all, I create on TikTok, it's all true content. I never promise like you're going to make $1 million. I don't show off material goods that I own, because I don't want people to fall for things. I want people to learn. And maybe they learn this and they're like, oh, this is too hard for me. That's totally fine. But I want to maintain my integrity, just like in my business, for my course. So that's why when I created my course, it was really important that I had the additional I wanted students to be able to contact me. So we have weekly Zoom calls. We have a private Facebook group. You also get a 30-minute consult with me. But with the going back to, PPC and all of that, PPC and product research go hand in hand. And so if you do product research, you should also be doing PPC at the same time and understanding what are the keywords you're going to run campaigns on. What type of campaigns are you going to run? How are you going to convert? So like yesterday we had our call and that we did a case study. We looked into a niche that I found that has lots of opportunities to come to market with unique products. And so as we were going through the slides, I was asking my students, okay, what would you do next here? Unmute yourself. Tell me what you would do next, because it's one thing to take the course, but it's another thing to apply it. And so I actually assigned them homework. I said, next week's call, I want you to take this and come to market with a product. Show me what type of product you would launch, or what keywords would you rank, or who's the customer avatar? Because the more you practice that, the more stronger your product research, and you'll just build a stronger base. I can tell you, for cell phone cases, there's no way you would convert, because it's a very, very slim margins, first of all. Two, you only had one case, whereas all other sellers probably had 15 different variations. So because they have more opportunities and probably thousands of reviews, they have that buyer's trust, right? Like there's the iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Max, Pro, and if you don't have that, you can't compete with them.
No way.
So that's why when people say, oh, PPC doesn't work, well, it does work, but your product has to be very unique too.
I think, you know what, like when you were talking, I saw a point. I think you win from all the mentors that I have seen so far. So that was that you talk to your students. Like I sent the person messages that I'm having a hard time in this thing. Can you please help me out? And I got no reply, not even a single reply at all. So there is no thing in putting your success stories of your student. Like if someone has 1,000 students and he put 2 stories out, like success stories, it could be anything, right? They might be serious already. They just needed a small guidance they got from the course, and they were already doing well, and they did it and they just showed it, right? So then he got another like maybe 500 students kind of stuff. I'm just giving an like imagined number. So that's how, like, here, but you were talking to them, you were giving them case studies, which is a lot. Like nobody does it like that much hard work. And on the side, you're doing your own business and you're helping people out to succeed. Then there's another question, that how do you manage it all? Like, how do you manage your professional life? How do you manage your personal life? Then it means you are a good management person too. Like you can manage your time very well. How do you do it?
How do I do it? You know what?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. One, I've shared, I have 3 children, and I had 3 children under the age of 4. And so at that time, my husband was working a lot. So I was doing a lot of the primary caretaking of my kids. What motherhood taught me was how to be efficient with my time. Like when you have 3 kids under 4, there is 0 time wasted. I would go from waking up from 0 to 100, and then 9 o'clock at bedtime, I would just pass out because I'd be so tired. What that taught me was how to be efficient with my time. I don't waste a lot of time. I'm very selective of the energy I put out with people, with friends, and I'm okay with that. I have standard kind of rules now. Now I'm at the point where I feel like I have a good work-life balance. I have a virtual assistant now who helps me. My husband does help me with my Amazon Canada business because I've scaled in Canada, but still a large majority of the stuff I do, it's really being organized. It's really waking up early, starting my day. And like I said, my boundaries, like 9 to 2 is when I really work. And then after that, my kids come home, I got to make food. And I try my best to be there for them during that time and just being present and not trying to work. It took a lot of sacrifice. When I was working full time, I was spending countless hours at night, but I knew I wouldn't have to do that forever. Right. I think when entrepreneurs, when they have like a brick and mortar store, they have to work every day to get paid. But what I loved about Amazon FBA, I know that if I put 15 hours into this product, the maintenance of this product is only an hour a week or, an hour every 2 weeks, and I'll still make this reoccurring revenue. And so that's what really got me excited about Amazon FBA, that, okay, if I put the work in now and build it, then I can just taper off and do other things. So I wish I had this thing, but it really is just limiting your time and not wasting a lot of time. Time is your most precious asset. And no matter how much money you have, you cannot buy more time, right? Warren Buffett can't buy more time. Bill Gates can't buy more time. So it's how you use your time is the thing. I don't do I don't have a big social circle. I have a handful of good friends and family that I connect with, and I'm okay with that. So that to me has been kind of setting those boundaries has been very important to me.
Right. So there will be like boundaries that you need to set if you want to do the time management. Then you have to know what thing is your prior, right? So if you know how to prioritize things, you're not gonna go out of time, basically. So
this is from Costco. Okay, simple agenda, simple planner, writing things down. I'm a visual learner. Even in my course, I teach my students to use a free tool called Canva when doing product research. I feel like when we write things down, we're more accountable. And so obviously I have tasks that need to be done, within the next week, but there's priorities that need to be done today. So just writing them down, doing in the morning after I work out, get ready for the day. I do a brain dump of, okay, what needs to be done now? And as an entrepreneur, things change every day. I would love to say that I stick to the schedule but if there's a high priority of, okay, I got to get these shipping labels out because the vessel's leaving on this amount of day and my VA is gone for the day, I got to do it. Right. So there are some pressing things you do have to do. But yeah, it's just simply, honestly, writing those things down, breaking them down into smaller tasks is how I've been able to do it.
And you've been able to do in how many countries do you sell, by the way?
So majority of my sales are in the US. But I have expanded quite a bit in Canada this year. My hope is probably to get into Europe and Asia, depending on how things go. With growth, there's an immense amount of pressure as an entrepreneur to want to grow also. But I have to, if I've set the boundary that I only work 9 to 2, some things have to kind of slow down too, right? There's no point in working 12 hours a day and then not seeing my family, because that's who I'm doing it for, right?
Exactly. So well,
I'm okay with slowing down my growth in those other countries too.
Okay, because but by the way, you're doing already great in those 2 countries. I have seen the difference, right? So although you have seen the difference from your financial side, from your progress side, but we like the viewers, your followers, they are also looking at you and they are following you. They are like getting to your courses, they are getting involved into your content that you're creating online, right? So that is motivating to other people too. By the way, let's give like few minutes to somebody who want to start a business. So the very first question that comes into every single person's life, that how much money does he need to start an Amazon FBA?
Okay. So prior to even getting into the business aspect of it, I would say is don't doubt yourself. Okay. Because you can have the money, but if you're sitting there going, I can't do this, I'm too scared, I'm too this. No, if you're like, okay, I want to start this business, I want to change my life, you have to commit to that ideology and saying, okay, I am going to do this. Then it's the financial aspect. I always tell my students to start, we do low risk because we come to market with unique products. We try to send in 100 units. So you're looking at about in the US, $2,000 US. In Canada, it's a little less because you spend less on ads because it's a smaller marketplace. but you're probably looking at $1,200 to $1,500 US in Canada to get your first product in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not less amount, but that's a average amount, right? For a person, like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I know other courses, they're like, you need $5,000 to $10,000 US, but that they don't sell unique products. They're selling what's already sold. So it's kind of a different principle. Because I come to market with unique products, I do this over and over again. 2,000 is like a very comfortable cushion. And I've done breakdowns on my TikTok of how I got to that number too.
Got it. I'm gonna link your TikTok account as well in the description. So if you guys wanna check it out, go in the description after this podcast. Then you're gonna go and follow her too and see the videos, right? And the second question that usually comes in, that which market would you prefer, like the Canada or US?
Ooh, okay. I get this question a lot too. If you are like brand new, if you're Canadian, okay,
right,
and you're completely brand new to e-commerce and you're still like, I can do this, but I'm super, super like, I would say go into the Canadian market. It's less competitive, lots more opportunities. And in my course, I actually have a module that teaches people how to launch unique products just in Canada only, based on, other sales metric data that we pull. So I would say start in Canada if you can. If you're just, like you've never sold anything on Facebook Marketplace, okay, that's where you start. Now, having said that, if you're like, oh, okay, I do understand a bit of e-commerce, I do understand a bit of marketing, I think I can sell, then you could go into the US. Just be aware that the US is a little bit more competitive. So your unique selling point has to be very, very unique, and you really have to be dialed in. And there's no like right or wrong answer. You can launch a product in Canada, and if it does well, right, you're like, okay, I'm going to move this to the States too.
Okay.
It's not always like, okay, that's it. You're stuck selling in Canada. That's the beauty. You open up a unified account. That's what happens when you open up an account on Amazon, and you can sell in Canada, US, and Mexico fairly seamlessly.
I think the US, Mexico, and the Canadian, the three all goes together, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and the third question, which is I don't think like anybody have asked it, but as you said in a clip, on an Instagram, that you said like Alibaba is kind of like oversaturated right now because there is a lot of competition going on, right? So do you have any other platform that you use for importing your products, or any item that you want to sell on Amazon?
No, actually, I always use Alibaba.
Always use Alibaba?
I always use Alibaba. I've never had an issue. Yeah, I always use Alibaba.
I think I might have misunderstood. So sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. I thought like you were saying that Alibaba has a lot of competition and people are having a hard time in using Alibaba. I thought you said that. Maybe you were saying like, okay, if you want to go on Alibaba, you have to do your product research, like who the suppliers you're going to be.
Yes, you do have to make sure you have like a verified supplier, or you have somebody who has trade assurance. Those are all important factors just to protect your investment. But I always use Alibaba. I think more so it's Amazon is a little bit more competitive. And so you have to make sure that you bring unique products to Amazon and not just pick up, random stuff from Alibaba and think you'll be able to sell it on Amazon. It's just not going to work.
Right. And okay, so there is now these were the main three questions that everybody has in their mind. So hopefully they have got the answers. So there is one question that once you said like to achieve success in this business, it's not one thing, right? It's the combination of many small things that equal success. What that equal success is, I couldn't get it.
So what equals success?
Yeah, you said it is the equal success of small things, like when we are doing this business.
Yeah, so there's a great book called Atomic Habits. And it talks about repetition and small wins every day. I think a lot of people will sit there and say, well, I want to buy my own home, right? Okay, so why don't you break that down into smaller steps? What is that going to equal? Well, you don't have the current wage to get that. So you need to come up with, go to the bank and the bank says you need to have $3,000 more a month. Okay, well, how am I going to make $3,000 more a month? What are the steps I'm going to do? And it's a combination of things. And, I'm on a fitness journey. I've always because I think this is relatable. Last year, I was so hyper focused on my business. I kind of lost track of my health and fitness. I gained a little bit of weight and I wasn't happy with where I was. So I could sit there and complain and say, I'm 44 now, life is harder, blah, blah, blah. Or am I better saying, okay, these are the things I'm going to do that have been proven successful for me. And these are the things I'm going to have to commit to if I want this change to happen. And so on Instagram, I document every day what I'm doing, my workouts, because I hold myself accountable to that. And so the success of now, losing that little bit of weight, I have a little bit more to go, is because I take action every day. I break it down into smaller steps, which is exactly what that book teaches you. So that is very, very important. You're not going to be able to quit your job in one day, but you'll be able to quit your job if you take action every day towards your goal. That's how you achieve it. And you talk to any entrepreneur, anybody who's achieved success, talk to an Olympic athlete. They didn't just show up and, start swimming. It's years of practice and building that muscle that will get them to that point.
Right. If you ever launch a course on time management, let me know. I will be the first student of yours.
You just need this limit. Okay. Let's talk about time management. Okay. When my kids were younger, it was waking up early. Yeah. It was always having a plan. Like I never made dinner at 4:00. Dinner was made at 9 a.m. So planning your day out is so important. So many people just are like, oh, what am I going to do now? And then they order Uber Eats and then they're like, oh, I don't have money. Well, plan that in the morning, right? Plan those things. So failure to plan is planning to fail. So if you plan out your day, plan out your week, and stay accountable. I have 2 calendars. I also have a weekly calendar. And those are the goals I have to accomplish every week. And I can sit there and make excuses saying, oh, I'm tired today, or I don't want to do this today. You got to do it. You got to do it if you want to hit that end goal of whatever it is.
Okay.
I know I'm a little harsh.
No, it's good to be harsh. That's how a podcast should be, right? It's totally unfiltered and for sure. Yeah, sorry.
I think a lot of people. I was going to say, I think a lot of people make excuses.
Yes.
Life is hard.
A lot, yeah.
Life is hard. I get it.
Life is hard.
But if you want to achieve any sort of success, you got to push through that and whatever it takes to do it.
Yes, that's right. I forgot a quote that Buddha says. He was saying like life is all about suffering, but it is on you that how you take it.
Yes.
Right. So yeah. So I have taken so much of your time. So let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like few questions that I ask every single podcast guest that I have on this show. Okay. So first one, what is your future goal in the upcoming 5 years?
Oh gosh. So I'm building a second Amazon account.
Okay.
I've been asked before, because when you build an Amazon account, you can eventually sell it. Am I going to sell it right now? No, because I really enjoy what I do. I love the hustle. I love launching products. So my future goal really for the next 5 years is to maintain my Amazon FBA business, grow my second account, and then use my money to now enjoy and do the fun things I've always wanted to do. So now, I've been traveling a little bit more, being able to invest in my health. I've started golf lessons. Like I'm doing different things. So that's really my goal, is to try and explore different things in the next 5 years, whether they be business related or any of my personal passions that I've always wanted to do.
Okay. All right. So let's do the second question. Mm-hmm. So since you were born till the day today, so if you have to summarize all the life learnings that you have earned so far in 3 things, what it would be? Like it could be any advices, it could be learnings, it could be anything. but it should be 3. Okay, take your time, but it should be the summarize.
1, trust your gut. Your gut is always right. Okay. 2, protect your energy and who you spend your energy with. Not everybody is deserving of your energy, and be aware of that. And 3, do the things that you've always wanted to do. Don't let, Harpreet, in our community, especially for girls, it's loki ki kahenge, right? Like there's this big social stigma, especially for Punjabi women, of, oh, you can't do that because what are other people going to say? When you free yourself from that quote, all of a sudden you want to explore different things and you want to do different things. And at the end of it, when you're on your deathbed, you want to look back at your life and say, you don't want to say, I stopped myself from doing so many things because all those people who are dead now cared about my opinion. You want to say, I did everything I wanted to do. And I got to enjoy different experiences. So don't limit yourself based on other people's beliefs and thoughts, is what I would say.
I think all 3 topics were like, they should know, because if they summarize these 3 topics in one, that is called freedom, basically. Basically, that's how you achieve it, right? So it is all about life learnings, and you explain it really, really well. So as there's some of our audience, they're gonna be fascinated to learn from you. Please tell us where they can find you. What is your thing that you're doing? Like, of course, I'm gonna link it in the description, but still, like, please tell the audience the message you want to give them.
Yeah, if there's like, and not even just Amazon FBA, if you're watching this podcast and you're like, I want to do something different, follow people on social media who are doing something different that will hopefully inspire you. My content is really geared for people who may not have an e-commerce background and are just interested in learning a little bit more. You'll always walk away watching my content learning something. So I am over on Instagram, Mandeep Kaur e-commerce. I'm over on TikTok also, Mandeep Kaur e-commerce. And, I hope people follow me, engage with my content, ask me questions. I try my best to answer as many questions as I can. But my goal is always just so that other people can see that they can change their lives, they can do something different. And maybe, even if it's not e-commerce, hopefully I inspire them that at any age, it can be done.
Right. Okay. And there is a webinar too, by the way, that you do host, I think, every day?
Yeah, so it is a pre-recorded 20-minute webinar, and it goes over the actual Amazon FBA business model and whether it's right for you, because it may not be right for you, depending on your life circumstance. So watch the free webinar. It's 20 minutes, and you'll gain insight and perspective on even what Amazon FBA is and if it's the right fit for you.
Okay. So as Mandeep told you all the stuff, and whatever she has talked about, all the Instagram and TikTok and her website too, I'm going to link into the description. Please go and check it out. And thank you so much, Mandeep. Thank you so much for coming this show. And it was an honor for me, actually, and for our audience also. And hope you're doing, whatever you're doing, you're going to do well. And the life goal that you have set, you're going to achieve. And we are always looking forward to you, because you are our mentor at the moment, kind of stuff. Like we are following you for FBA, and I am personally following you. I'm watching your all the videos, all the TikTok. As I told you, I'm your little fan because I'm not doing a business at the moment. But once I started, I might also join your course too, right? So yeah, that's it for this podcast, right? Anything that you want to suggest us, or anything you want to suggest to me?
I just want to say I appreciate all the people who follow me online, and they encourage me to keep creating content. Sometimes I talk into my phone and I'm like, is anybody even watching this? So I do appreciate the kind words, the kind comments, the kind emails that I get of people who just feel that inspiration. And I'm just so happy that I am on TikTok to share my journey and hopefully inspire others. So thank you. And thank you for having me on this podcast.
No worries. You're welcome. And thank you. Thank you, Mandeep. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks. All right. Bye-bye.